Three, two, one. Lahore annihilated Karachi Kings in Karachi today, but it seemed like there were only a handful of fans to witness this annihilation in person. We'll talk about if LQ is back, if Shaheen Afridi is back, or if it was all a fluke for the Rana brothers and company. We're going to be doing a deep dive today into the problem of Karachi, why Karachiites are not showing up to games, be it the ICC Champions Trophy or the PSL or bilateral series, and much, much more. With me, as always, my brother, co-host, Rishad Hossein.
Lahore last year won one match in the entire PSL season. And this season, within 3 matches, they've already topped themselves from last season. And Lahore has this thing where either they finish on top or they finish at the bottom. And the way things are going, they might just start clinching their way towards the top 4.
I think for them, this season might be somewhere in the middle. I think they're not going to be in the top or the bottom. They're going to be maybe top half and find themselves playing some qualifiers or eliminators to make themselves into the final.
I think Lahore's done a really good job. I don't know if anybody there is listening to our podcast, but we said, and we questioned, why is somebody like Rishad Hossein on the bench, a wicket-taking leg spinner, and you were playing like non-regular spinners? You were playing David Wiese, who is a mentor type role. And so they made proactive changes. The first match, they lost, and then the next match they brought in Rishad Hossein, who's been taking wickets in the middle overs, which has been key for them. And on top of that, they've made another change with the benching Jahandad Khan and bringing in Zaman Khan, who initially was part of that trifecta of pace bowlers for Lahore Qalandars, where it was Shaheen, Haris, Zaman Khan, and then back in the day, they also had Rashid Khan and David Wiese as well.
100%. And we'll talk about all of that, and we'll go deeper into the nitty gritty of the game today, because I do believe that Lahore pulled off a magnificent win here, a commanding win, a win that they'll basically get a lot of confidence from and see themselves as favorites going into the eliminators and the quarterfinals. But before that, Bashar, we have to discuss the matter at hand. You and I hail from the magnificent city of Karachi, and you and I have both seen many a game at the National Stadium Karachi, or NBCA, whatever it's being called this week. And for us, it's been definitive for our love of cricket. The first game that you and I ever saw together was in 2007, 2008. It was the ABN AMRO National T20 Cup final between Sialkot and...
2005, actually.
Was that
5 or
2005?
6.
It was Sialkot Stallions versus Karachi Dolphins. It was Shoaib Malik and Shaheen Afridi and Mohammad Sami and, Sohail Tanveer and all these like huge...
Match got abandoned, by the way.
Match did get abandoned, but that's also part of the whole Karachi
Somebody
vibe.
threw like bottles at the players and the match got abandoned.
I mean, that's also part of the vibe of Karachi, honestly. And, we're not even in that stage where there's enough fans to throw stuff at the players in these current situations. But I wanted to do a deep dive as to why Karachiites have not been showing up to international games and local games. Now, the crowd in Karachi has been bad for years. Today, in a home game, which is supposed to be like deemed as the El Clasico of the PSL, which is Lahore Qalandars versus Karachi Kings, about 10 to 15% of the max capacity showed up. So I'm talking about like 3,000 to 4,000 people were there. Stands were not even half empty. Some of them were completely empty. Some of them were 30-40% full, especially the square leg ones were a bit more full than they were the fine legs. Sorry, the mid-on and mid-off ones were, which were the VIP ones, I assume. So there is definitely a miscalculation or a disconnect between the fans of Karachi and these leagues and these organizations. So I wanted to do a deep dive into what's happening. And just off the bat, there are some critics trying to just bash the city of Karachi, being just trying to say that this city has lost interest and there is no cricket following left in Karachi, which I would wholeheartedly disagree. Anecdotally speaking, just talking to some of the fans, doing a little bit of my research with people who are in the know-how, that's not the case at all. One of the biggest YouTubers coming out of Karachi is Shayan Plays Cricket, and he plays in Karachi. He plays, district level and lower district level cricket in Karachi. He's a friend of the podcast as well. He will tell you 100% the youth is still invested. They still watch games. They still follow games, but they're not showing up to the games. And those are two very different things. And what I did was I basically broke down the 3 major reasons why Karachiites are not showing up to the games for this PSL and just in general. And I would love to see what your reactions are to these. and how you would rate these points in regard to what the situation appears to be in Karachi.
I heard somebody say that ticket prices are quite high. And if you have relatives in Pakistan and you want to help them with ticket prices, you can use Sendwave and you can send them money through Sendwave and use the code SCOREPK to get $10 towards your first transfer.
Yes, you are absolutely right. Sendwave is a sponsor of Backward Point this PSL. So this PSL, Sendwave is giving you guys an opportunity to send money back home to Pakistan. When you use our special code SCOREPK, you get $10 off of your first transfer, and this is why you'll want to be doing it. Sendwave has some of the most competitive rates in the market. They charge a no transfer fees and make their money through their exchange fees instead. So there's nothing coming out of your pocket. We've moved our entire, money transferring apparatus over to Sendwave. We send money to our graphic designers and our designers back home who make this podcast actually happen, honestly. And it's been easy, it's been fast, it's been reliable. All you gotta do is link your debit card, verify your identity, and you'll be sending money in minutes. Again, use our code SCOREPK for $10 off your first transfer. And thank you, Sendwave, for sponsoring our podcast. Great segue, by the way. I did not see you coming.
Shout out. This
honestly.
Is why we get paid the big bucks.
Big bucks are being paid, honestly. And here we go. So the first reason that the Karachi fans are not coming to the ground. Number one, the biggest, the baddest, the main reason that you and I can immediately shake hands to this, the fan experience.
Horrible.
Horrible is probably an understatement on that. You and I have had the privilege to watch games, baseball games in capacity grounds that are 50,000. We've been to in and out of concerts that have held 55 to 60,000 people at one point. You've seen basketball games at the Rogers, the what is it called now? The Scotiabank Arena, Budweiser stage. We've been to small theaters that hold 1,500 people. We've been to big concert halls that hold 30,000 people.
We've watched games. We've been very lucky and privileged and very thankful of getting the opportunity of watching a match at Lord's. Not Canada's home of cricket, but
why don't you?
But the home of cricket.
We'll come to Canada's home of cricket.
Lord's, which is the home of cricket.
Full stop.
Full stop.
Yeah.
So we watched a game at Lord's. We watched a game at Edgbaston. We watched a game at a pop-up stadium, which is built in Toronto for the GT20. And I've watched a game in Lahore as well.
Dick's. Dubai International Cricket Stadium.
Yes. Sorry. What? I was like,
that's what it's called.
Bleep.
Dubai International Cricket Stadium. We watched 2 games there, in and out. Again, not the best experience for Dubai International Cricket Stadium, but comparing to what we've witnessed in Karachi, you and Lahore, it's miles apart. Now, the Karachi Stadium was built in 1955 and has only had 3 major renovations, and none of them regarding the stands itself. So 1996 World Cup, before that it had minor touch-ups. 2017, when the PSL final was firstly brought to Karachi, that's when they had a little bit of a touch-up. Again, I believe.
That's when I think they had the shades put on top of the
shades were put on top. I think the scoreboard was changed. A few other VIP stands enclosures were given a touch-up. And then in 2025, right before the ICC Champions Trophy, a new LED screen, new LED lights, bigger screen so that people can watch highlights better.
And they had a new building put up.
And a brand new pavilion put up, exactly. None of these, again, were... None of these renovations really targeted the main cause of the dissatisfaction of the Karachi crowd, which was just where they sit, what the view looks like, and how far they are from the action. Now, there are 15 to 20 foot fences right at the foot of the stands. So when the lower third of the bowl is completely useless because the hindrance is so bad that it's impossible for you to see through the thing. It's like a swarm of mosquitoes roaming around. That's how blurry it is. And that's not a good viewing experience at all for anybody. If the fans try to go close to the fences, they are shooed back by the security guards and whoever is patrolling the fences. So that whole lower third of the bowl, completely bad. Once you move up halfway through the bowl, now you're so far away from the game that it feels like you need binoculars. Most of the time that I watched the games, I was usually on my phone trying to zoom in to understand what exactly is going on. So you're not part of the action. You're so far away from the action that you feel dissociated with it. Not only that, I had it in my notes. The washrooms are horrid, right? There's maybe each stand shares, 3 stands share one washroom, and one washroom. The sanitation problem there is generally just really bad. Ventilation is bad. Sanitation is bad. Huge long lineups. There's no way for you to go in and out smooth like that. Now, to compare this with the way International Cricket Stadium, which is probably the most comparable in this situation, even though that is like 20 steps ahead. I mean, the bathroom situation was not as bad. Like you could come in and out. It was quick. Sanitation was
They
better.
had soap in the bathrooms.
They had soap in the bathrooms. That's the big one. And like just in general, like you get your done, you do your duty, you're out. The third problem is there's nothing of quality to eat at the stadium. Right outside the pavilions, you see like bun kebab stands and rolled paratha stands and just like French fries and all that. Like there's nothing of substantial to eat. Now, the game that I went to see was an ODI, and that ODI game is about 8 hours, and I only had 2 bags of fries and a bun kebab that entire 8 hours that I was in the stadium.
I think that's the same issue in Lahore as well, because when I went to watch the PSL opener last year in Lahore, they had fries, but then they had like a mini store in the back, like all the way in the top of the stands, where they were selling ice creams and chips. So I had to get by on a bag of chips, and that's pretty much it. They weren't making a lot of fresh food on the ground.
And
Whereas when we were in Dubai, we had some chicken fried wraps. There were a lot of other options to eat as well.
Exactly. And it's missed opportunities because of the local food that Karachi presents itself with. Like Karachi in Pakistan or in that region, I would say, has some of the best food ever. Full stop, period, without a doubt. You know, if you deny it, you're probably from Lahore. There's like no question that Karachi has some of the best food ever. And so to have that at your marquee sporting event is bad. It's not even bad, it's worse than bad. It's horrible. And then the fans have nothing to do. Their families, if I want to take my wife and my kid to watch a cricket game, how am I supposed to entertain them? How am I supposed to, what viewing experience am I showing them? And if my kid pees his pants, how am I supposed to change him? What's the accessibility like? What's the washroom situation like? What's the sanitation situation like? Horrible. All of it. Every single thing from this time you step into the stadium to the time you step out is bad. Now let's talk about stepping into the stadium, because the number 2 point is getting into the stadium is absolutely a mess. There is no parking. There's no public transport in the city, which is, mass transportation in Karachi is already abysmal. There's no shuttles or ease of movement, and no parking complexes to park your vehicles. So the best that you can do is probably take an Uber or Careem or one of those like in-drive situations, and that will put an extra 1,500 rupees cost on your already 3,000 rupee ticket. So that it's inconvenient. It's absolutely a mess when it comes to navigating where you want to stop, where you don't want to stop. Then when you do get dropped at the right location, because there's only one gate that actually allows you to go into the stadium, you could be, let's say if your gate is gate number 8, which is all the way across the stadium, you have to still be dropped at the front of the stadium to get through, then you walk inside across. So if you're a person of disabilities, or if you need accessibility chairs or any of that, forget about it, right? So when you get dropped at the right spot, the walk from the drop-off location to the gates are long. And then there's extreme security checks. I counted at least 5 the time that I went to Karachi Stadium, 1 every 200 meters. And it's the same checks all over again. So is it redundant, or is it like, are they basically incapable of checking the people the first time with authority? Whatever the reason may be, as a consumer, as a fan that's going into the stadium, coming out, it's a mess. It's horrible. And you and I felt that when we were at Dick's, the International Cricket Stadium. It was, the amount of checks that they were there was like equivalent to almost Karachi, and it was horrible. And, people still, it was the last checkpoint, I believe, when you and I were going to see Pakistan, India, and people still had water bottles and power banks and whatever contraband that they were not allowed to take. So, like, if that's the level of security that even the last checkpoint is still confiscating stuff, then you have to up the security beforehand, not add more security measures. Correct?
Let's say hypothetically, in a situation where I am a middle-class man with a middle-class income in Karachi, and I have a family of 4, including myself, and I want to go to the Karachi Stadium to watch a match. And let's say my salary is 75,000 PKR. So me deciding to take in a Yango or an in-drive to and from the stadium is around 1.5K.
To 2,000, yeah, depending on where you live.
Let's say an average match ticket is 1K per ticket.
Per person.
And I have 4 people in my family. That's 4K. So we're at 6.5K total. Let's say I go inside the stadium and I spend some money on food.
Horrible food that's 3 to 4x overpriced.
Right. And I spend like 1,000 rupees of food.
Probably more.
Right. Probably
Water
more.
bottle was 250, I believe. I remember.
So on average, I am right now at this point like at 7.5, 8K.
7 to 8K. Yeah,
That's
easy.
10% of my income
For that
on
one.
just one day. And that too, it's not worth it because the experience is so bad that I'll probably go back home with trauma from the whole entire checking and how bad the viewing experience is.
Yeah, and you and I have been on record when we went to see World 11 versus Pakistan A or whatever it was in 2012. Man, we got lathi charged. And if you guys are like not familiar with lathi charges, like these, it was basically a police barricade. We had the right tickets to go into the right stands, and there was a police barricade, and there was people from other stands and other areas, some with no tickets at all, trying to get in to show for themselves. And these police just took this baton and started like whacking, and we got hit. It hurt a lot. I still remember we got hit as a 16-year-old. You and I, basically it was like Moses walking through the Red Sea. It was like basically people parted as the police people came through and just started, belligerently hitting the kids. It was mostly kids. And so that's like one of my core experiences going to National Stadium Karachi, right? The third thing, which is I think also important, but has not been mentioned before, because I did do a survey on Instagram and I did try to ask as many Karachiites as possible, and I'll take their input as well as the Patreon corner, because I asked Patreon members what they think about the lack of attendance in Karachi as well. The third most important thing, and you may agree or disagree with me, is that speaking specifically of this Karachi Kings team of the PSL, Karachi Kings itself has no ownership of Karachi. I've heard not from one, but many sources that Karachi Kings does a horrible job representing Karachi.
Well, Karachi Kings is just representing ARY.
That's what it feels like. So there's a huge disconnect with the city of Karachi and the franchise that it represents, right? So as someone who works in marketing, as someone who does this podcast, and this podcast requires a lot of marketing, I ask these questions and I have no answers to them. What are the efforts that the marketing team of Karachi Kings is making to Karachiites? Are there any pop-ups with local players? Is there any fan engagement going on? Is there any story building? Is there any bonding between the franchise and the city? None whatsoever. What about billboards? Is there any hype? Is there any ticket giveaways? None whatsoever. Karachiites do not take ownership of Karachi Kings because Karachi Kings does not take ownership of the Karachiites. Why would they show up to a franchise that does not represent them? That, in tandem with basically the past 3 to 4 years of a rotating door of toxic players coming in and going in the Karachi franchise, it feels like this whole city has been disenfranchised with their own franchise. They have no relation to it. They have no story to be attached to it. I take a similar situation of our own home city. We live in Toronto. Toronto has 3 big teams: Toronto Maple Leafs, the Toronto Raptors, and Toronto Blue Jays. I don't really follow hockey. I'll follow it when it's playoff time. So we'll see then. But as a Jays and Raptors fan, they are completely involved in everything I do. I cannot go to the shawarma place, to Osmos, without seeing a Raptors face on the wall. So they have ingrained themselves into the DNA of Toronto. The players live here. I'm not saying that this is what has to happen with the Karachi Kings. It's a 6-week tournament. So I don't expect that kind of commitment, but I expect something. It seems like PSL comes into Karachi. It's a fad for 6 weeks. Not even, because this year they only got 4 games or 6 games. It comes in. Karachi Kings is sort of supposed to be an automatic, because if you're from Karachi, you automatically support Karachi Kings. And you and I, being from Karachi, are a prime example of how that is not true at all. You and I sort of forgave or what is the word I'm looking for? Forgo, about what the past tense of that. Forwent? We released or forfeited our association with Karachi Kings 5 years ago, man. 2020. I went to PZ. You went to Islamabad United. We both ended up
2 years ago.
Sure. We both ended up in Islamabad United last year, and now we're still IU boys.
I think Karachi's example of marketing is sending Babar Azam, Imad Wasim, and Muhammad Amir to Nida Yasser's morning show and having them dance and cook some food, or to launch the PSL 10 trophy at the Jitu Pakistan Ramzan show.
That's not what it is, man. That's not what it is. Those are all just subsidiaries of ARY. And so Karachi Kings have to make a decision. Is this an ARY team or is this a Karachi team? You can say anything about any other team. Lahore owns Lahore Qalandars. Islamabad owns Islamabad United. Peshawar owns the Zalmis. I'm not really sure about Quetta because we haven't really seen a lot of games being played there, but I'm assuming a lot of the Quetta fans who are cricket fans in Balochistan own Quetta as well. They have already lack of representation, as we see in the media every day. So this is something that puts them on the map. What does Karachi own? Karachi does not own Karachi Kings. Most of the fans that I know that I've seen around in Karachi don't rep that team. They'll go to Multan Sultans, they'll go to the Zalmis, they'll go to IU. Very few Karachi fans are actually Kings fans. And that's the problem why Karachi Kings plays at their home stadium, but people don't turn up. You give them bad infrastructure, you give them a bad fan experience, and you basically have no reason for them to show up. Why would they show up?
I think it's also because the Pakistan team right now isn't doing well. So just the general cricket pulse in Pakistan isn't conducive to supporting or watching or going out of your way to watch.
But you can't say that because Pindi is sold out and Lahore is sold out. How?
Facts.
Right? If it was a trend that I was seeing across the board where people are just not showing up to the games, I could agree with that. But it's a Karachi problem. And it didn't start today. It didn't start last year. It's been happening. I asked our Instagram followers the same question, and I was hoping a lot of Karachiites would answer, and I'm pretty sure that it's a mixed bag. But these are the other miscellaneous reasons that they've presented to me. Apparently, there's a lot of boycotts going on in Pakistan, especially against KFC and Pepsi for the BDS movement. I don't really buy that because if it's a BDS boycott situation, then again, why is Lahore showing up, Multan showing up, and Pindi showing up? So I'm not really in agreement of that. Maybe there is some sort of trickle effect that people are trying to be their best and do that and not in their minds represent this sort of franchise or this organization and support them. But that's one of the reasons that was brought up to me. Secondly, it's apparently metric, intermediate, and A levels examination time right now, and a lot of kids are studying or going to centers or tuition centers, so they don't have the extra time in the day to go out and support Karachi Kings. And again, why would they? Karachi Kings had not done any team building or fan engagement with this core base, so why would they even be moved to go and support? 3, like you said, general lack of interest in the PSL. When the team does horrible, the people get disenfranchised, people move away, they take a break. A lot of cricket is a mental health situation as well. And when you just have a walkover loss against India literally 6 weeks ago, then how do you expect a fan base to churn in support of it? And just in general, this has been a anecdotal thing that I've noticed, Bashar. You might agree or disagree with me. Karachi itself, the city of Karachi, has felt disenfranchised with the country of Pakistan. It feels like it earns the most money. It's the financial hub of the country, but it basically has not gotten a renovation since 2008, 2010. It feels like it's always in the back burner. When there was a stadium upgradation, Lahore got it first. Karachi merely got a touch-up, an aesthetic touch-up.
Allegedly, they're going to work on the fan viewing experience, what they did in Lahore and Karachi post-PSL. That's what I've heard.
Well, I'm talking about right now. In Tuesday, April 15th, 2025, this is the situation that we find ourselves in. What'll happen in 6 months, I can't say. In 3 months, they blew down a stadium and rebuilt it. For sure, could this happen in Karachi as well? Yes. But we also know that PCB coffers are empty and they're taking loans from the Pakistan government to basically rejuvenate whatever losses they've made in the Champions Trophy. So as it stands right now, I have a few solutions that could work in favor of this. Number one, like you just mentioned, a massive upgradation process similar to the one in Lahore. I think that is high time that the 2 biggest cities of Pakistan should get a modern day stadium which reflects modern day cricket and modern day sporting events, not a 1955 carcass.
One of our editors went to watch the England versus Australia match in Lahore, and he sent me footage of the view from his stands. And he was so close to the boundary, and like Jofra Archer was in front of him.
It was like what we witnessed in Dubai International Stadium or in Lords or any of the other sporting events that we've seen, where you're actually a part of the action. So you feel the pulse of the game seeping through you as you participate in the viewing experience. Right now in Karachi, you're not a part of the viewing experience. The viewing experience around the ground is not catered to the fan. It's catered to the broadcasters. And if that happens, then, well, Karachiites will watch it at home and have a good time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just the upgradation situation that it needs to happen. The stands have to move closer to the game. Right now, this is the same problem in Lahore as well. And I've seen this across the subcontinent. India is probably the only country, and maybe a few stadiums I've seen in Bangladesh and Sri Lanka that have done this, where the stands have basically gotten closer into the bowl of where the cricket is being played. Right now, the stands are so far away. The stands end, and there's about 30 or 40 feet of just grass, and then the promoter boards, the electric promoter boards start, and then the boundaries are there. And then if you're in the power play, all the fielders are already inside the 30-yard circle. So you're again a further few 100 meters, 100 feet removed from where the action is happening.
So if you go reverse from that, so there's the boundary, and there's about 30 feet of just grass. And
Boundary, electric promoter boards, billboards, and then 30 feet of grass. And then you get the 15,
grills.
20 feet fences. And then if you want a good view, you're already at the lower bowl.
Right. So you're at least like 50 feet away from the actual action.
No.
happening.
You're at least 150 feet away. You're so far away. Riddle me this. Fakhar Zaman, Shaheen Afridi, I don't know, like all these like big names. Fakhar Ahmed, when I was there, Fakhar Ahmed scored 96 odd against New Zealand. He was hitting 95-meter sixes, and they were still hitting the grass bank. They were not even remotely close to the fans, especially in mid-on and mid-off. Square leg, maybe square leg. That should tell you how far the fans are from where actually the game is happening, right? So a massive upgradation process similar to the one in Lahore. Number 2, mass transit solutions or parking complexes near the stadium. High time. We go to downtown all the time, and we make fun of how there's more parking complexes than actual buildings in downtown Toronto, but at least you have a place to park your vehicle when you want to roam around. Right now, impossible. The way the National Stadium is built, it's in the heart of the city. Literal heart of the city, right? It's impossible to do anything remotely. It's impossible to move around with that kind of freeway and traffic all around the National Stadium.
The other issue is because the National Stadium is in the heart of the city, and because of security, they block the roads around the stadium. It makes the day-to-day life of a Karachite very difficult.
Yeah, so there's resentment.
A couple of years ago, when I was going back from watching the Pakistan-New Zealand second test, day 5, and I was taking my Uber back to my house, I sparked a conversation with my Uber driver. I'm like, yo, what's happening? Are you following the cricket? Pakistan almost won today. They dropped the match. And he literally cussed cricket. He cussed the Pakistan team. And he said that this cricket match is a punishment by God to the people of Karachi. That's how pissed he was.
And that's probably a sentiment all around the city. If that's how isolated your city has to be in order to facilitate a match, then why would you even turn up and support something like that? If it's just disrupting day-to-day activities, if there's resentment already built up that Karachi feels underrepresented nationally, and then you have this situation coming out, nobody's going to show up. They're going to protest. This is people voting with their rupees and saying, I don't want this, or I don't want it like this. Third part, local international brand food stalls present within the stadium, so the viewing experience is better for the fans, right? If I want to take my family, there should be something for my family to do there apart from the cricket. We go to the Blue Jays game. There's not just basketball. There's not just baseball happening. There's fan events, and there's halftime shows, and there's t-shirts being thrown, and food stalls and viewing experiences. And like you and I took our parents to see a Blue Jays game. They don't know anything about baseball, but just being in the Rogers Center, just being in that arena with just the stands and the grounds and the lights and the dome opening and closing, like it's an experience being there for 3 and 4 hours, enjoying the vibes. People should come to the cricket just to enjoy the vibes, like they do in the UK, like they do in South Africa, Sri Lanka, India. It's just a day out. For Karachiites, that's not the case. You need to figure out parking. You need to figure out security situations. You need to figure out movements. You need to figure out what you can and cannot take into the stadium. It's horrible. And then once you go in there, there's overpriced French fries. You know what I mean? So international brands, local brands take part into the food stalling of it all and make a lot of money. Nobody wants this to be a cheap endeavor. People want to make money off of this. This is a really good opportunity to do that. Second last point, and then the last point is where I'm going to wrap it up. If the last point happens, I think everything will fix itself. Second last point is the Karachi Kings need to work year-round in Karachi to remain a force within the city. They need the local players to engage with the fans so they feel like they're a part of the city narrative. Right now, Karachi Kings is an outsider that is hogging the name of the Karachiites. It does not represent the Karachiites at all. I mean, they tried to sort of make an effort this year with the anthem, which is good. I mean, I like the anthem. I don't know about you. Asim Azhar and Talha Yunus. Asim Azhar doing his best Jack Harlow impression, and Talha Yunus doing his best Drake impression.
Talha Yunus, there's one line in that song where Talha Yunus says, win or learn.
course, why not? I mean, it's viral right now. I mean, I totally respect that. But that was more of like, oh yeah, these are Karachiites. I see these faces. This is the face of Karachi right now. I can relate to that, and that's literally, I'm not kidding. I saw that music video and I was like, do I like Karachi Kings? That question sparked in me. So, even though I'm IU for this season, I was like, you know what? With Warner in, some of the players I like, maybe I like Karachi. I don't know. And then we'll come to the game right after this. This performance happened, and I was like, oh no, I'm not really a fan of this team anymore. And then the last point, which will round up this conversation, this deep dive into it. And I'm hoping that a lot of people have stayed because we've talked for about 30 minutes about this, and it's very important that we get to the bottom of this because then we can move on to bigger and better things with the LQ game. If possible, retire National Stadium Karachi and have another modern international stadium ready in the city.
I was hearing chats of a new stadium being built in Bahariya town.
I've been hearing a lot about that too. I've heard online chatter about maybe a brand new stadium in Defense, Phase 8, near the sea. The Bahariya Stadium we're talking about already. Yes, for sure. And, maybe just completely out of the city with an international hotel right next to it so that players can come in.
Bahariya town is out of the city.
It is out of the city. So maybe that's the answer. But you gotta retire this behemoth, man. This old dinosaur has given a lot to cricket. I mean, Sachin Tendulkar debuted in National Stadium Karachi. Fakhar Yunus debuted at National Stadium Karachi. Pakistan had not lost a test match for 30 odd years in National Stadium Karachi until the 2000s. So it's given the city a lot. It's time to give the city something different and something new. Generations have grown up and died, and then now new generations are now available in the city that have gone through the same thing. At one point, National Stadium Karachi might have been outside of the city, but now it's in the deadbeat heart of it, and this just cannot go any longer.
Ali Khan
London has that model where it has two stadiums, the Oval and Lord's. So this is very possible that Karachi, if the people are sincere and they actually want Karachiites to show up to things, do it. Do this.
Ali Khan from Patreon says, I asked this question to some of my colleagues who work out for our Karachi office, and they basically said that ticket prices are way too high. And if you're going with family, it really adds up. Furthermore, they work 10 to 12 hours a day as corporate culture in Pakistan, I am guessing is comparative to sweatshops. And they have no time to attend any of the matches. Both valid points.
That's very true. One of my close friends who worked in a very similar marketing position as I did worked about 50 hours a week, 6 days a week. And I worked 35, 5 days a week. And sometimes Fridays were off.
Daniel thinks the Karachiites are busy playing paddle. And Zen Ali says that it makes Karachi games boring to watch as there is no vibe.
That's the problem, right? That's the problem. We've discussed maybe not in total agreement, but there is a sort of fan crowd involvement that helps the home team. We've discussed it. This happens in a lot of sports. It happens in the NHL, the NBA. It happens in the Premier League, home and away games. If your home crowd does not show up, what kind of an advantage do you have as Karachiites?
Absolutely. I think we should get into the match now.
Yeah. I'm sorry. This was important. I hope people stuck around for this deep dive. We've had a lot of questions on our socials, Bashar. People asking us, DMing us, why isn't Karachi showing up? Karachi agenda is very strong for this podcast. We keep mentioning Karachiites, the Saims, Ayubs, Safraz Ahmeds of it all, Azam Khans of it all. And yet, when it comes to this, why are we not critical of the city of Karachi? And this is why. Because it's not Karachi's fault.
I think it's also important because we are from Karachi. Our heart beats for Karachi. And Karachi's our home.
Yeah.
And in Canada's home of cricket is Yashi Sports. You will not see it coming ever.
Capitalism has won. Karachi has lost, capitalism has won. Please continue.
Yashi Sports is Canada's home of cricket. There is no issues getting into Yashi Sports. There is no issues accessing yashisports.com's website, shopping for your cricket equipment, and using the exclusive VIP code BP10 for 10% off your purchase. And Yashi Sports also has free shipping on orders of $350 and up. Go to yashisports.com, get your equipment, quality stuff, expert advice. If you're a beginner or a pro player, they've got every single thing you could require for the cricket season. Let's go to the match. Karachi Kings versus the Lahore Qalandars.
El Clasico of the PSL. I'm not sure if anybody else.
Why was it happening on a weekday? This is the match you save for the weekend, like a Friday night or a Saturday night where you get together with your friends. You watch Karachi versus Lahore play. So it's quite random for this match to be happening on a Tuesday.
Shah, you tell me, man. You tell me. I'm at a loss of words. I spoke for 30 minutes straight about the plight of the Karachiites and why they're not showing up to cricket. And yet here we are again. Karachi Kings versus Lahore Qalandars, the derby of it all, of the PSL. They've played 20 matches together. Karachi has won 13. Lahore Qalandars has won 6. No result. This is another game that Lahore Qalandars find themselves smashing through. Now, we'll go into the reasons of why that happened. One of the reasons I can think off the top of my head, this third or fourth delivery of the entire match tells it all. Bad fielding.
Drop catch.
You drop Fakhar Zaman in the first delivery that he's faced. How do you expect to do anything?
James Vince drops Fakhar Zaman on the bowling of Adam Mill. Pretty much at this level was a sitter, a dolly, if you can call it, and you don't expect someone like a James Vince to drop such a catch. He seemed shocked that he had dropped it, but Fakhar Zaman made them pay, went on to score 76 of 47 balls. Fakhar right now looks $1 million. He looks like he's done his rehab properly and he's back in his full flow. He scored a 50 in the last match as well. Back to back. And his game against spin particularly is what is impressing me, which might sort of give the case that Fakhar might just he can bat in the middle order for Pakistan at number 4.
Fakhar at 4, Salman at 3, Simon Sahibzada for Han.
But the breaking news is, and this is my negligence, I should have read this yesterday, but Mohammad Haris in the post-match press conference yesterday said that the Pakistan management informed him that with Fakhar Zaman being fit, with Saim Ayub being fit, that they will be the new openers for Pakistan, and that Haris will have to adjust himself at number 3 or number 4, and that is why he is okay batting at number 3. That is why he's okay batting at number 4.
But is this true? I didn't see this.
I heard this. This happened yesterday in the post-match.
This is BP not following up with the homework, man. I did not see this because this is actually breaking news.
This is news.
Okay, well.
So Fakhar and Saim as Pakistan's openers in the next series. That is what the management has given a message to Mohammad Haris, and Mohammad Haris would likely play at number 3, which means Salman Ali could play at number 4.
And she's playing at right now for Islamabad United, which makes sense. Which then I think about Bobsy and I get sad, but that's not this podcast is not about that. We've done 2 back-to-backs on Bobs. This is not about it. Mohammad Naeem, thoughts on that real quickly? Another kind of a lackluster performance, hits a 6 and then gets out on not a fairly exciting delivery.
A ball outside off stump where he was trying to heave it towards mid-wicket. Just a typical Lapardu Tulla shot, and it paid off in like the first 6 he had against Hassan Ali. Even though he didn't properly middle it, it went for 6. So he has some power. But I just think at this level, you got to play shots on merit. If the ball's on the off stump, you got to hit it towards the offside instead of forcing things that are not meant to be.
Hassan Ali was kind of on a roll.
Dude, Hassan Ali is a PSL legend. People keep forgetting that. Oftentimes, people mix international performances with the PSL performances. And I mean, the reason why guys like Shadab Khan or Fahim Ashraf keep going for platinum despite their international performances being low is because at the PSL level, at the T20 level, they're still really good players. And Hassan Ali has, I think, 113 wickets in 80-odd matches in the PSL.
Guy, I just pulled up quick info and here he is reciting it back to me. Let me just run it down.
8.02 economy.
84 matches, 113 wickets, best 4 for 15, 22 average, which is great, honestly, 8.05 economy, 4 fifers.
These are incredible stats for a guy who bowls 2 overs in the power play and bowls 2 overs in the death.
Yeah, honestly, I totally agree.
And plus, he can swing the bat down the order as well.
When his first spell it was, I think, 2 for 4 or 5 with 2 wickets in the bag. Like, you know, he was absolutely bamboo-zling these bowlers. And no, it wasn't 2 for 4 or 5, but it was miserly, honestly. And the way he got Naeem out and then the way he got Abdullah Shafiq out just ballooned off. Abdullah Shafiq had no idea. He was swinging it both ways. There was one delivery that Hassan Ali bowled to Abdullah Shafiq that cut him in half. Did you see that one?
That surprised me because the gap between Abdullah Shafiq's bat and pad is still there. And teams are still targeting that. And I'm not sure, like, he hasn't worked on it in the past few months. He's been out of the team. And I feel like if he continues playing at this level or the international level, he will get exposed once again.
I think, was he playing for the outswing and the ball just nipped back? I think that's what it was.
It could just be the ball going in with the angle.
Because, man, he was swinging it both ways, Hassan Ali was. And it was like, whoa, wait, this guy?
I don't know if you've noticed, but Hassan Ali is one of the fittest guys in Pakistan cricket going around right now.
Even though he went on Rohan Nadeem's podcast and complained about his back spasm for 3 hours. But
No, so that is actually a very good point, because after that back injury that he had, I think he's worked on his fitness so much that he has a diet plan. He works out consistently because he knows if he gets injured, the PCB will screw him over again. And so he has to look after himself by himself.
Hassan Ali legally 31. So still some cricket left in him.
One of the issues with the PSL is that when we see a guy performing in 1 or 2 matches, suddenly we're like, should he be in the Pakistan team?
No, I didn't say anything like that.
No, because we had a discussion. No, we were having a discussion in the Patreon chat where somebody was like, Hassan Ali is bowling so well. Could he make a comeback in the Pakistan team? And I feel you. It can happen. It happens to me too when I see a guy performing. You're like, this guy would be a great fit of the Pakistan team. But sometimes those performances aren't able to be translated towards the Pakistan side. And sometimes performances in the PSL are a little inflated. The PSL is not the most competitive league. Yes, it is a bridge between Pakistan's domestic cricket and Pakistan's international cricket, but it's still not the scale which you should be judging performances by.
I agree. Fakhar Zaman and Jared Mitchell basically held the backbone of this Qalandar's batting lineup, and then Sam Billings and Sikandar Raza came in near the end and did some heavy hitting to make sure that they crossed the 200 mark. Now, when I saw this final score on the board, 201 for 6, I thought, man, Karachi Kings might chase this in 18. The firepower that the Kings have right now, honestly, and then I had just listened to the Asim Azhar and Tala Yunus song, and I'm like, man, I think Karachi Kings is happening. And then Karachi Kings showed up. And I tweeted from Backward Point's account. I said, breaking news, Karachi Kings has forgotten how to chase in a span of 1 game. Because what the heck did we just see?
Shaheen's first over. That's what happened.
That's what happened.
Warner seems to still be adapting and adjusting to Pakistan's conditions. And Shaheen doing what Shaheen does, getting 2 wickets in the first over.
Question, as an analysis of a fast bowler, you saw them, 2 wickets, first over. Were there good deliveries to get wickets on?
Warner's wicket was weird because he just sort of cleared his left leg and tried to smash him. It felt like Shaheen was batting against Shaheen. But
Shaheen wishes he's Warner.
I don't think it was that good of a shot. Like the delivery was okay in the sense where it was outside of off stump. It was outside of Warner's hitting range. So that was probably what the plan is. That was a good delivery. And then the delivery against James Vince was also good because James Vince has a matchup against left arm pace where the ball is swinging back in.
Do you have enough confidence in this Qalandar's management to actually think about matchups? You think they actually thought about this?
Kind of.
Really?
Kind of.
I mean, really? Who do you think in the Rana Bradaran, the Rana Bro and company is actually sitting down with bowlers and be like, this is your matchup, you got this? Genuine question, man.
Well, one of the brothers is in the stands. He is sitting on a sofa with Mani watching the matches.
Mani, local Karachi is supporting local Qalandars. My theory of Karachi as being disenfranchised is just coming true right now. But yes, go ahead.
And then, so Samin Rana is in the dressing room, but he's more of a team director. He's giving out iPhones and
so which Rana
plots.
brother is the statistician?
The one that's not there. Figure
that out. I don't know. I was a bit underwhelmed by the manner of the wickets, but I like the fact that, again, after a really long time, we saw Shaheen take 2 in the first over and just completely obliterate the opposition. Once those 2 wickets were down, it would have been a really hard task for Shan Masood and Tim Seifert to come back. Tim Seifert looked clueless. 18 runs off 22 deliveries. This is another Tim Seifert who was smacking Pakistan left, right, and center like 3 weeks ago. This guy, where is that guy? I think Karachi Kings want that guy to show up today. But, what can we say? Khushdil Shah tried to do something in the middle, and Hassan Ali with 27. Thoughts on that? Hassan Ali, the real all-rounder that Shaheen Afridi thinks he is.
Hassan Ali has 2 ODI 50s. Did you know that? He has 150 in South Africa, and then he has 150 in New Zealand.
He has a first-class century as well.
He does. He scored a century in the first class Guy Dasman Trophy final.
G as in Urdu, as in like, yes. That's exactly what it was. So, yeah, I mean, Hassan Ali can smack a few. Adam Milne, 16 off 7? What the hell?
I think it was a combined effort towards the end to minimize the loss, to just help with the net run rate. But our boy Rishad Hossein once again took in 3 wickets.
And that's what we were talking about before, right off the top of the podcast and before in previous podcasts. The lack of Rashid Khan in the LQ lineup, basically that hole was, it felt like unfillable. And that gaping hole just left this team wide open.
If you can get Rashid, get Rishad.
Boom. Just move the vowels along and there you are. Rishad coming in has given this LQ lineup a new life. I genuinely believe that. He took 3 in the last game, Rishad. He took 3 again in this game. And he's being economical. He's bowling all 4 of his wickets, for all 4 of his overs, taking wickets in the middle, and just not letting a partnership build up. And if that's the case, if you have 200 on the board with a wristy leg spinner in the middle, you can basically defend any target. And I say that not only to Lahore Qalandars, but shade management as well.
It's also where Karachi is lacking where they don't have a wrist spinner. They have Arfat bin Haas, they have Khuzil Shah, and then they have Fawad Ali, who is an emerging fast bowler.
I mean, Bashar, you and I could count the amount of wrist spinners that the PSL has right now. I mean, we could literally do this. Like Saad Masood is his name, right? Saad Masood is a new gun. Islam Ahmed is shady.
Osama Mir.
Osama Mir. You
Sufyan
have
Muqim.
Sufyan Muqim. You have this Rishad Hossein. You have
Karachi has Zahid Mahmood on the bench.
PZ also has one.
Arif Yaqub.
Arif Yaqub, yes, thank you. And then yes, Zahid Mahmood is sitting on the bench here, but it doesn't have that track record to back himself up in PSLs, man. He gets whacked a lot in T20s, especially in a Karachi pitch. Now this Karachi pitch, I don't know, man. It was behaving a bit differently than I'm used to. I had a little bit.
Than you are used to.
I mean, as I was used to witnessing. I haven't played in Karachi ever, but Cheyenne, again, my friend of the pod, mentioned that he did some trials in National Stadium Karachi, and there's an aura about that ground, according to him, that you're just standing on that pitch, just playing a few deliveries. He felt like he was standing on the shoulders of giants. But I digress. What was I talking about?
Wrist spinners and the behavior of the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, this pitch was different. It had a bit of grass in it. It had a bit of bounce to it. It had a bit of sheen to it. If you're landing your deliveries in the right areas, it was actually seaming a little bit. So I don't know. I thought it was a really good pitch. 200 is the ideal score for me when it comes to watching and witnessing T20Is. So T20s in general, I think that's a good competitive score, 10 and over. It's not really all the way away from you if you have a few bad overs in the beginning, but you can still catch yourself up and chase that down. I don't know. Like, I feel like Karachi just completely bottled it, and I'm kind of low-key glad that Karachites didn't come to see this game because they'd be furious.
The points table is looking kind of interesting, where we have Islamabad 2-2, Lahore 2 wins in 3 matches, Quetta is 1 win, 1 loss, Karachi 1 win, 1 loss, Multan and Zalmi yet to record a win in this PSL.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early days for the tables, but it's shaping up to be a solid top 4 in my opinion.
Zalmi's run rate is negative 4.5. Horrible. They need to win the next few matches by big margins.
Otherwise they're out. It's a shame because with Saim back in form, with Tadas putting in the runs, all they should have done was get a decent bowler in the draft pick and let these guys cook. Maybe a couple all-rounders, but yet again, clueless, embarrassing.
Brainless management, clueless captaincy.
Sure. Before we walk ourselves out of this podcast, Bashar, because I do again have to watch the finale of Severance tonight with my wife, and I've already taken 50 minutes of this podcast. Punjab Kings scored 111 and KKR was not able to chase that down. Did you follow that?
I gotta watch the highlights. I watched the scorecard.
Insane scorecard. Just check that out if you have time. I know this is a PSL daily, but I had to mention that because I have been going on about, oh my God, these T20 leagues, they score 250 and they chase them and it's annoying and da-da-da. And then here comes a low-scoring thriller, and I absolutely loved it.
Where they scored 200 in the entire match.
In the entire game. That's what I love, man.
I have to confess, I have been watching the IPL. At least the IPL.
You have been or you haven't been?
I have been.
Okay.
I've been watching the IPL highlights after dinner for the past few weeks. It's sort of a tradition that me and my dad have now, where post-dinner, he's like, yo, put the IPL on.
Really?
Yeah. So
guys, again, another Karachiite lost to the system. Turned over to the IPL.
What's your IPL team?
I don't have one. I'm not
Deccan Chargers?
Yeah, from 2008.
Because Afridi was playing.
Yes.
Mine was KKR because Shaheen Afridi was playing.
Sure. I don't know. I'm not following the IPL at all, man. This is not an IPL podcast. I just wanted to mention this score, and I thought this was quite interesting. So if you guys haven't checked that out, the 3 of you guys that are not watching the IPL with me, this is one to definitely check out in the highlights.
On that note, guys, thank you for listening in. If you're hearing us on YouTube, subscribe. If you're hearing us on the audio platforms, make sure to leave us a rating because that helps us get the podcast discovered to more people.
Thanks to the Patreon members. Thanks to the Patreon executive producers, Tamur Rabani and AM Masood 34. If you guys want to be an executive producer of the podcast, keep the lights on in this beautiful, beautiful the studio that we've built, then you guys can go ahead and check it out. We have one spot left for executive producer. If that's not your thing, you can join the inner circle, be part of our WhatsApp group chat where we're just going off about the PSL and other cricketing events in the world. And just enjoy and support the podcast as best as you can. If you guys don't want to do any of that, but still want a community, Discord is live right now. And it's just a great time to be at the Discord because the meme game at the Discord is absolutely next level. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to Sendwave. Thank you to Yashi for sponsoring the podcast. Thank you to Patreon members. Thank you to you guys if you stuck around this far. I hope the Karachi stuff resonated with a lot of people because there's been a lot of questions on what this actually is. And I hope you'll come back tomorrow in our PSL Daily number 5.
Cheers.
Cheers.